ETHOS.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do. With press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play.
It is over. Cats have won it.
We bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text RULE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text RULE to 42424. That's RULE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
As a veteran, I live with health impacts from my service. VA gives me exceptional care and helped me gain the best quality of life.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
KCUV Tucson, a Cumulus media station, your home for the NFL, regular season, playoffs, and Super Bowl. It's Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Williams is going to go on the attack, kick it out. Open three is on the way from Jones, but it's off the front rim and not good. Rebound's tipped. Cunningham can't get it. 2 seconds left, and Colorado is going to get the win.
Just like that, in Kansas City, it is over for your Arizona women's basketball team in the second round of the Big 12 Conference Tournament. The ladies had a 10-point lead early in the fourth quarter against Colorado, the 9th seed. The Wildcats were the 8th seed in the tournament, so two teams very even. One game separated them during conference play, but the Buffaloes came storming back in the fourth quarter to steal the victory. 61-58 is the final today in Kansas City, and the women's basketball's regular season tournament comes to a quick end, and now they must wait to find out if they're going to get that berth to the NCAA tournament. Disappointing game for sure for your Arizona Wildcats. Again, 61-58. Skylar Jones finished with 17 points. She had 7 of 10 from the floor. Jada Williams had 13, but those were the only two players in double figures for Adia Barnes and company. Tabitha Betson, 16 points, along with Kennedy Sanders, 14, to lead the Colorado Buffaloes, who again were down 10, 50-40, with about 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this one. But they come storming back and get the victory over your Arizona Wildcats. I did not see the game. I'm out here at the Cologuard Classic. If you're watching on one of our many video streams, we are on Facebook Live, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitch. You can see the beautiful La Paloma Country Club behind me. We are just above the 18th green here at La Paloma. This is the first time I've been out here for the Cologuard Classic. Last year, obviously, I was in Las Vegas for the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament, so I missed the Cologuard Classic in its first year here at La Paloma, a much different golf course than what we had over at Omni Tucson National, a much more hillier course here. So that was one of the things I heard a lot from people last year was it's not as easy a course to walk as what you find here, but I played it about a month ago, and it is absolutely probably now, I've always said, Star Pass is my favorite of the country club courses here in southern Arizona, and I would have to say that La Paloma, I've only played La Paloma once. I played Star Pass. Star Pass is a little bit more public course. I played Star Pass probably about 7 or 8 times in the 17 years that I've been here, and I've only played La Paloma once. But man, if I had a chance to continue to play it a little bit more, I would think it would be very, very close to challenging Star Pass for my favorite of the country club courses here in southern Arizona. What's your favorite of the country club courses? I'd like to know that today since we're going to be talking some golf. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I'm out here. J.W. Madden is back in studio today. J.W., you're not really a golfer. You probably haven't. Have you played any of these country club courses here locally?
Not local country club courses. I mean, I've hit the ball around and gone out to the range with friends, but I'm not really. I wouldn't call myself a golfer, no.
Okay. Yeah, this one's again, it's very hilly, but it is one of the more beautiful courses that you're going to find here in southern Arizona. Man, there's nothing better. I mean, as somebody that comes from the Midwest, I love when I can get a chance to get out on some green grass. And there's not a lot of opportunities necessarily to do that here in the state of Arizona, particularly in southern Arizona. But when you get out on a golf course as beautiful as this, man, the grass is green, and the smell of that grass really takes you back home to summertime or springtime even in the Midwest. A lot of fun getting a chance to get on some of the great courses like this. This is Pro-Am Day. This is Pro-Am Day number 2 out here at La Paloma. So most of the guys that are going to be playing in the tournament are out playing right now with folks that paid a whole lot of money to get an opportunity to play with them. It's always a lot of fun. They've got 2 days of Pro-Ams. Yesterday was a Pro-Am day. A little bit warmer out yesterday, a little bit windy and cooler today. Tomorrow's going to be interesting, the first day of play, because we're expecting about 90% chance of rain tomorrow, so it could be I heard Patrick Harrington talking a little bit earlier, and he mentioned that, hey, the first day might be a little bit rough, but the temperatures are expected, and the rain is supposed to clear out tomorrow night, and so Saturday and Sunday should be really good out here at La Paloma for rounds 2 and 3 of the Cologar Classic. This is the 4th stop on the PGA Champions Tour this season, and so the first 3 winners on tour this year, Ernie Els, Miguel Angel Jimenez, and Justin Leonard. So those are your first 3 winners so far this season. Ernie Els took the Mitsubishi Electric Championship over in Hawaii. Miguel Angel Jimenez won in week 2 at the Trophy Hassan 2, and then the Chubb Classic down in Naples, Florida, which was 2 weeks ago, was won by Justin Leonard. So on the Champions Tour, they generally play about every couple of weeks to start the season, and this will be the 4th event on the tour, the Cologar Classic. Again, 2nd year that they've had this event here at the beautiful La Paloma Country Club after their long run at Omni Tucson National when the seniors first came back to town after the departure of the WGC event, which Southern Arizona hosted on the regular tour for a number of years. Play will get going, obviously, early tomorrow, and it should be fun. 3 rounds. They'll tee off about 10 o'clock, a little after 10 o'clock here. Tomorrow there'll be an opening ceremony shortly after 9. That first group will go out. Joby Brandt, Jeff Maggard, Cameron Piercy, Dusty Waldorf, Paul Stankowski, and Dickie Pride all in that first group. Some of the larger names maybe that we've seen here in past years, not here. Jim Furyk, obviously, not here. Phil Mickelson, who's played in this event once or twice, not here this year, but still a lot of the great names that you're going to remember. Jerry Kelly, obviously, is the host of this tournament, and we had a chance to talk to him a few weeks ago, and he has not won this tournament, which has been very interesting. There has been a different winner to this tournament every single year that they've had it. We've not ever had a repeat winner here at the Cologuard Classic. Could we have that for the first time this year? So we'll wait to see if that transpires here in 2025. Again, beautiful day out here today. Looking for a great weekend of golf. Want to hear from you if you're going to be out here this weekend. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let us know if you were out here last year, what you thought of the first year change here to this new course from Omni when they brought it out here last year. Some of the other guys that we're going to see on the course this weekend. Retief Goosen is here. I mentioned Patrick Harrington spoke to the media earlier today. Stuart Sink is here. Ernie Els, who has won on tour. The three champions so far this year. They are all playing together in the first round tomorrow. So that'll be cool. Ernie Els, Miguel Angel Jimenez, Justin Leonard, all playing together. They'll tee off at 12:11 here tomorrow. So the three gentlemen who have all won. Willie Wood out of Sabino High School is also going to be in the field this weekend. So there will be some local flavor to the tournament out here, the fourth stop on the PGA Champions Tour. All right, we're going to get our first break in here. Again, 520-848-1290. We've got some golf interviews coming up for you as well. We'll check back in Kansas City and hear from Adia Barnes after the Arizona women's basketball team just wrapped up their second-round game, losing to Colorado 61-58. So the bubble now awaits for Adia Barnes and her team. 19 wins. Is that going to be enough to get them in? The feeling was they really needed to win this game today to get that 20th win and secure themselves a spot in the NCAA tournament. We'll now have to wait for an entire week to find out if that indeed takes place. J.W. Madden is with us as well. Cricket will join us a little bit later. I'm David Kelly coming to you live from La Paloma Country Club, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio.
All that? Then think again. But don't wait. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is going on right now. So visit your local Hyundai dealer today. It is a great day for a new Hyundai.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out
Rob,
Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's check.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're coming to you live from the La Paloma Country Club here. It is the Coolagard Classic in Tucson. Play will get underway tomorrow. Let's talk some golf. Pleased to be joined by Jack Milko. He writes all things golf for SB Nation. And Jack, welcome to Tucson, your first time here in Southern Arizona.
It is my first time here in Southern Arizona, and I could not be happier to be here for such a great event, one that impacts so many different people really across the country.
So how does that work? Because you cover PGA, you cover Champions Tour, you cover LPGA. But how do they make your schedule? How do they decide which events you go to weekly?
Well, that's a great question. It really depends on what opportunities arise. I love being on site, and I was really thankful to the Exact Sciences team for inviting me out. I got to play in the Pro-Am this morning with Padraig Harrington.
Nice.
And that's an opportunity that I would not pass up. And, to be able to tell the stories of not only all the players here, but more importantly, Tim received his liver transplant in my hometown of Rochester, New York. So we kind of bonded over that, but hearing his story and hearing the fight that he has to go through each and every day is just so inspiring. And what's also troubling too is because it's such a terrible disease, and more people are being diagnosed with this disease. And so how can we, as a society, not only raise awareness for colon cancer, but also try and get testing out there? And that was a big theme that Jerry Kelly spoke about to me yesterday as well in his press conference today, is how can we have more individuals much earlier than the age of 45 get the Cologuard test, try to get that early detection, because even the 3 individuals I played with this morning, they kept saying how if we had the test earlier, we probably would not have ended up with the severe diagnosis that we did.
Jack Milko is joining us. He is with SB Nation Golf. He's covering all things golf. Second year in this particular role. Did you play golf in college? What's kind of your background in the game?
I have been playing golf since I was 5 years old.
Oh wow! Okay.
I currently carry about a 5 handicap. Now, if you said to my group that I played like a 5 handicap today, they would have thought that I was crazy. I think I hit one fairway. I picked up my ball more than often than not.
So you weren't playing a lot of your shots.
No, I was not playing a lot of my shots. But, being somebody that's from upstate New York and lives in New York City now, I don't really play a lot of golf this time of year. So a little rusty. But, what was a really amazing part of the day was right on the 18th tee. Padraig Harrington pulls us over, and he gives each of us an individualized lesson and what they need to work on, what they should try to work on. And Harrington has such a growing audience on his YouTube channel, Patty's Tips, offering suggestions, tips, and how to better improve your game. And just to have that individualized lesson from a 3-time major winner, it's like a dream come true. And the survivors that I played with were just blown away in awe about the tips that Patty was giving him. So I'm a golf nut, always have been. I've always wanted to work in the golf industry. So I played in high school, did not play in college, wasn't good enough. But I could pull some shots out here and there, but most of the time I'm just a weekend hacker.
All right, so break down this field for me. We've got the 3 guys that have won on tour here already, all playing in the same group tomorrow, which will be kind of cool. Ernie Els and Miguel Angel Jimenez, Justin Leonard. What do you think about this tour, or this field for this weekend?
It's a loaded field. I mean, it's one of the more prominent early events of the season. I'm really eager to see how Bernhard Longer plays as well. He obviously had the Achilles injury last year. I'm probably biased in my analysis here after playing with Padraig this morning, but what he did off every tee was he really teed the ball low, put the ball back in his stance, and hit this lower piercing trajectory, going about 320 yards off the tee. I mean, he would still be able to carry it like the PGA Tour pros right now. And it just goes to show you how talented these guys are, even over at the age of 50. Just remarkable. And, so it's a pretty amazing field out here for the PGA Tour champions. Ernie Els, obviously, great player. Also curious to see how Retief Goosen plays. Retief's had quite a lot of success on the PGA Tour champions since turning 50 in 2019. So he's another guy to watch out for. But yeah, what's remarkable is 78 players, all of whom are really solid golfers, and any one of them can really win this week, especially with the weather coming in tomorrow.
Right, yeah, absolutely. We had a chance to chat with Jerry a couple of weeks ago, and his advice was hit it in the fairway and then hit it in the fairway.
Yes, and coming from somebody that found one fairway today,
Right.
I know how important that is because you do not want to be off the fairway.
Right, exactly. Jack Milko is joining us. He writes golf for SB Nation, and he covers the LPGA Tour. He covers the PGA Tour and the PGA Champions Tour here this weekend for the Cologuard Classic. Was up in Phoenix for the Waste Management earlier this month. Had you covered that event before? I'm sure you had heard about it. What was your impression as somebody covering that event for the first time?
So I have to say, the Waste Management Phoenix Open this year marked my first ever time in Arizona.
Okay.
So this is my second time in the beautiful state of Arizona, which I have become quite fond of. That event is unlike anything else. And I have told a lot of people that if you're going to go and make a pilgrimage of sorts to a PGA Tour event, the Phoenix Open is the one. It's just unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like a major championship in terms of the crowds and how many people are there every day. What I was blown away was WM's commitment to its sustainability efforts to make sure it's a zero waste event. You know, there are bins and compost bins all over the course to make sure that, okay, your recyclables are going here, your food waste is going here, and it's almost an education of sorts. So not only are you having fun, but you're learning about, okay, this is where your food goes, this is where your recyclables go, and obviously seeing what Thomas Dietrich did was quite remarkable as well, winning by 6 and stuffing a shot on the 16 at the end on Sunday there. And he's making a case to possibly make a run for the European Ryder Cup team later this fall. So really great event. Highly recommend, especially from an East Coast guy like myself.
Did you see the robot hit the hole-in-one?
I did not see it. I wish I witnessed it. I did not see it, but I heard about it, and that's quite remarkable. I hope they don't take over the game of golf,
right?
Because I love playing it too much, right?
That's all we need is the robots
exactly
coming out and hitting perfect shots
exactly.
All over the place. And it's interesting. I'll ask you this question as somebody covers the game. Obviously, the big attraction there is the 16th hole. I've said that I don't know why the PGA doesn't build a stadium hole at every event. Am I crazy to think that would be something that would attract more people to the game if you had that type of atmosphere every single weekend at every single location?
That's a great question, and it's something perhaps the PGA Tour could consider. I know Live Golf has really taken that to an extra level and making it louder. They have the watering hole. I'm sure you saw footage of what they did down in Australia last month in Adelaide. But I will say this, to kind of counter that point, I think what makes the 16th hole in the Phoenix Open so special is that is a unique setting unlike anywhere else in golf. Everybody knows about the 16th. It's one big party. It's unlike anything else. It felt like you're at a college basketball or college football game, and to replicate that environment might make it sterile overall in a sense. So I love big crowds, especially at a golf tournament. It's right there's nothing like the passion and energy that golf fans have. But I think the 16th, trying to copy that in other tournaments would be tough because it's so unique and it's the original, right? You don't necessarily want to spoil anything that is so successful.
All right, so you get into this industry. Last year your first year covering the tours, or had you covered the tours?
So I started covering golf full-time for SB Nation at the 2023 PGA Championship in my hometown of Rochester, New York.
Wow. So who was the first when was your first fanboy moment as a working member of the golf media where you're like, oh my God, I'm interviewing this person?
It's funny. When I first interviewed Rory McIlroy, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I'm interviewing Rory because I named my golden retriever Rory after the Northern Irishman. And so that was pretty cool. I got to ask him a couple questions that week at Oak Hill. And it's like, oh my gosh, here I am in Rochester, my hometown, the course that I've had the privilege to play before, and here he is, Rory McIlroy, arguably the face of the sport. And of course, the big story with Rory is not only him sticking up for the tour through the whole PGA Live Golf saga, but also we're going on 11 years without him winning a major, despite all the success that he's had. And now that he's won 27 PGA Tour career titles and counting, with his last coming at Pebble Beach in early February. But that was really the moment where I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Jack Melko is joining us, SB Nation Golf. So when you look at the PGA Tour, obviously Scotty Scheffler has kind of taken things over the last couple of years with the way that he's played. Who are those two guys you think can most compete with him week in and week out?
Rory's definitely one. And Rory hits the golf ball off the tee like I don't think anybody else in the history of the game has. He is just unbelievable with his driver. We saw that at Pebble Beach when he took the lines over the trees on the corner of the par 5 14th. Another guy who I'm really eager to see over the next month or so, especially leading up to the Masters, is Xander Schauffele. He's been out since early January with a rib injury. And another guy to watch out for who he turned on the jets down the stretch at Torrey Pines is Ludwig Aubert, the young Swede who played on the 2023 Ryder Cup team before even playing in a major. He's fantastic. And I would also say that two other names to throw out there are Colin Morikawa and Hideki Matsuyama. Those two guys are just tremendous ball strikers, and ball striking, if you can hit the greens and got great iron play, you're going to do well.
Your thoughts on this TGL concept that we've seen so far in the early part of the year?
I think it's been great. It's been unique. It's been different. My biggest criticism of it is I don't think we need it for 2 hours. It's not the length of a college basketball game. I think instead of 15-hole matches, why can't we make it 9 or 12? Make it a 90-minute program. It's obviously made for TV. I don't think we need a halftime. I mean, it's golf. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. As much as I love Scott Van Pelt, and he is one of the guys who I've long looked up to, we can save Scott for after. We don't need to cut back to the DC studios at halftime. But overall, I think TGL was a really big success, and the ratings show that. I think they averaged 500,000 viewers, which for a startup league, that's pretty impressive. And ESPN obviously committed to it. I thought Matt Berry did a tremendous job leading the coverage and anchoring the coverage. That's a really delicate balance to do the play-by-play and hosting duties while also trying to work in interviews with the players. I mean, that's a really tough juggling act to do. I thought he did a great job. But I'm also eager to see what they do in year two. They might expand a couple teams based on what I've heard. And, they implemented a rule change midway through with the hammer, which essentially is a double-down effect to make a hole worth 2 points instead of one. And they, instead of having one hammer, each team was allotted 3 hammers down the stretch of the season. So clearly they're open to changes. I think they're open to some criticism. And overall, I think it could be a really interesting product at the beginning of the year, something fun, something different. There's 4 teams in the playoffs, and those will take place Monday and Tuesday after the Players next week.
Outstanding. Hey, Jack, I appreciate you taking some time to join us.
Thanks so much for having me. Great talking with you.
Jack Milko from SB Nation. It's the Cologar Classic this weekend out here at La Paloma Country Club. Much more coming up straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier auto.
PK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coming to you live from the Cologuard Classic here at the beautiful La Paloma Country Club. Great to get a chance to talk to Jack Milko from SB Nation, and now we've got a man that's going to be swinging it out here this weekend. Ted Purdy, Arizona Wildcat alum, sits down and joins us now. I've got here to U of A in 1993, if I'm not mistaken, Ted.
Yeah, 92 to 96.
So you were here in the fall of '92. So you missed the national championship by one semester.
I did.
Was that though? I mean, did you look at? Was that? I'm sure you probably made your decision to come here before that, but did seeing what the program was able to do that year, did that heighten your anticipation to be able to come here and play golf?
Oh, for sure. University of Arizona under Rick LaRose was, the top at the time, was the number one team in the country. And then when I came in the fall of '92, we were undefeated. We didn't win nationals that year, but we were even at the end of the year the number one team in the country. So Coach LaRose had the confidence to bring me in here and keep his dynasty going. So
right.
It was great.
So you went. You're from Phoenix area. You played up at Brophy Prep. Then you came down here. What were some of the things you took away from your time with Coach LaRose?
Oh, just he just taught you to be tough and learn how to play golf your way. I mean, that's why Jim Furyk, I think, thrived at University of Arizona, because Coach didn't mess with his swing. Where if he'd gone to, say, UCLA, world-class teaching pro as the coach, might have tried to change something in Jim's swing, and Jim would never be the Jim Furyk there is today, because I think he's the fourth all-time money winner on the PGA Tour.
No question about that. Why do you think that philosophy worked for him and allowed guys like you and Furyk and all the many more that were able to make it to the PGA Tour thrive? Why did that work versus what you were saying before, maybe changing a lot of things?
Yeah, no, U of A under LaRose, I mean, he won national championship for the women's team and the men's team. I think he's the only coach ever to do that. But he's had the best players, and hopefully U of A continues that legacy now that they're at the Tucson Country Club and new facility there. But why was it great? It's just because he wanted you to be great at what you do and learn how to do it your way and your way. And as we become better and become in the pros, a lot of pros try to change their swing or modify their swing. And Tiger always is legendary for trying to change things, and I look at his swing, and I go, it doesn't look that much different. So I think he's just trying to convince us to change our swings. You just need to figure out, really, in professional golf, how you do it, and get really good at how you do it.
Ted Purdy joining us, Arizona Wildcat golf alum, now on the Champions Tour, 51. You made it last year to 50 to be able to come on this tour. Was that something you'd been looking forward to? How long had you been playing routinely still on the PGA Tour, or had you maybe gotten off that and were waiting for this opportunity to come up where you could get back on this tour?
Well, my rookie year on the PGA Tour was 99, and I lost my card in 2014, so 10 years ago. And the reason I lost my card, I turned 40 years old, and the 20-year-olds were hitting it so much further than we were. And if you look today, there's only, you can count on one hand the guys in their 40s that are competing on the PGA Tour. The game changed, and I think every generation that happens, but I lost my card. I didn't have it for 10 years, and now I've been looking forward to this opportunity for the last 10 years since I lost my card.
So what did you do during that time? Were you still playing competitive club golf or anything of that nature to try to stay to a point to where you could come on a tour like this and still be competitive?
Yeah, I stayed on the Korn Ferry Tour for 4 years, 4 or 5 years. The last couple years I played on the Corn Ferry Tour, not very well or not very successfully because the kids are just so much longer and they make the courses so much more difficult for the older guys to compete on. But I took a job at a car company in Phoenix for a while. During COVID, I took a job at the food bank up in Phoenix, up in Gilbert, Midwest Food Bank, to help the people that were in need at that time. And so yeah, I've just kind of been buying my time. I've been playing a little bit on the Corn Ferry, and then when I got a start on the PGA Tour, I'd obviously play. But really not a lot of competitive golf up until hopefully I played last week in Naples.
Okay. Chubb Classic.
At the Chubb, I didn't play very well, but I got the PGA Tour or the Champions Tour. It's a new week every week, so I'm excited about this week.
So in terms of now, are there, like you mentioned, obviously you played on the PGA Tour, you lost your card there. Are there prerequisites you have to be at a certain level to stay on this tour, or how does that work?
So the main criteria is career earnings.
Okay.
Like how much money have you made in your career, and they add up all the money you made on the Champions Tour, all the money you made on the PGA Tour, and all the money you've made on the Corn Ferry. And they add that all up, and where do you stack in that shuffle? Ernie Els obviously has made $100 million or whatever, so he'll never have to worry about getting a tee time on the Champions Tour. They like the Champions Tour. Obviously, tries to promote all their World Hall of Fame players. Mm-hmm. They try to get them to show up every week. Bernhard Langer and Freddie, and I think Ernie's in the Hall of Fame. So those guys. So that's what the Championship Tour is. It's they want the great players from the past. And that's what they're selling the sponsors. That's what they're selling the fans. That's what they're selling the Pro-Am competitors, is that you're going to play with a legend of the game of golf. And I never got famous because I would tell everybody because I played against Tiger. We're about the same age, and he was getting all the fame for sure. I made it,
But you got one victory. You have one victory.
Yep, and he
on
was
on the PGA Tour.
Yep, I
the
won.
Byron Nelson Classic in 2005. Mm-hmm. What was that weekend like for you?
Well, Byron was still alive, so it was always that tournament was kind of the fifth major to a lot of guys because Byron was alive. The fans in Dallas are enormous. I don't think they have a limit on how many people come in, kind of like the Phoenix Open. And that week, they called them the Fab Five that year. Tiger was in the field, Mickelson, Ernie, Retief Goosen, Vijay Singh. They called them the Fab Five because those guys, Vijay, I think, in 04 won 9 times. So those guys were winning like almost every week. Well, I came in and beat them all. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So what do you remember about how you did that? I mean, was that just what was different about that week, the way you played that week?
Well, it was, I get asked that question a lot. And at the beginning of the week, I had a young son at the time, Sam, and Sam wrote on a piece of paper, he said, "Dad, you're going to win this week." And I look at that and I go, "Thanks, Sam." And I put it in my wallet. And and that's just for goal setting for anybody. I think if you just write it down and it's something you look at every day, I think the universe aligns with you somehow because that's what happened. I found my putting stroke that week. I was able to let go. I wasn't, when I hit a poor shot, I wasn't emotional about it. I just went about my game and Sunday I was a couple of groups from the last and on the driving range the night before I was.
So you weren't even in the last group on the last.
Wasn't
day.
even last.
You came.
Yeah, I was I think 3 or 4 shots back. And on Saturday afternoon after my round, I was hitting these little butter cuts and I hit this 3-iron, and it one bounced into the pin on the driving range. And I went, huh. And I was hitting just these amazing little butter cuts the whole week. And then Sunday I hit 18 greens, shot 65, and, just played a flawless round of golf and passed everybody.
Do you remember what was in your head walking up 18, knowing you were going to be the winner?
Oh, yeah, I was shaking like crazy. And I didn't know I was going to be the winner because the guys behind me were. Yeah. So I think I had a 3 or 4 shot lead over VJ and Sean O'Hare. And on 18, it's a difficult driving hole. And I remember hitting that little fade off the tee. I was swinging as hard as I could swing, and it just it came off a little fade. And when it landed in the middle of the fairway, I knew I'd won because I knew I had a short iron in. I had a short iron into the green, 2-putt, make my par, and I get done, and I spend the next 45 minutes next to Byron Nelson. And Byron looks at my scorecard, and he goes, Ted, you didn't have a bogey all day. And I said, no, sir, I didn't. And he goes, I don't think I've ever done that.
Wow.
And I go, Mr. Nelson, I think you've won 11 times in a row. You've probably done that before. But VJ being VJ, he birdies 16, hole in one 17, and he's got and he is in the middle of the fairway on 18, and if he makes it, we're in a playoff. And I'm going, he's going to make it from the fairway. This VJ doesn't quit. And when he landed in the middle of the green, I went, oh, thank goodness.
Wow.
So I thought I had a comfortable lead until VJ decided to finish strong. But yeah, it was a great event. Great time.
All right, so how are you going to attack this course this weekend?
Well, La Paloma, it's its own animal. It's interesting. The key to playing great out here is, which I think I have a little local knowledge that none of the other pros are going to have, is just how these greens putt. And hopefully they're not listening to this telecast, but everything goes to A Mountain.
Everything goes to A Mountain.
And everything. So I have that little piece of insider knowledge.
I wish I'd known that a month ago when I was playing the course.
I know. But the key to this place is it's a Jack Nicklaus, signature golf course. If your driver's in the fairway, or get it in the fairway, then you've got to hit precise irons, because around the greens is very difficult. The rough's up around the greens. The bunkers are deep. But like Stuart Sink last year, I think he opened with 10 under par, 62. If you're hitting your irons well and you're in the middle of the fairway, the greens are absolutely perfect, so you can score. But fast forward 2 days later, Sink with the lead coming down the stretch, felt the nerves, and La Paloma grabbed him and he made a triple and a double and ends up losing to Joe Durant. But that's just the kind of golf course it is.
Right. Your son Sam, does he play?
He does. He played baseball in high school, and now he's a junior in college, and he's mad that I didn't make him play golf.
Right.
But he's a golf junkie to date. In fact, he's an engineering student, and his
What school's he at?
Well, I don't want to say this out loud, but it's Arizona State.
Oh boy. Okay.
He's in their Barrett Engineering School.
All right.
So that's how that happened. But he got the summer internship at Ping designing golf clubs.
Wow.
And I go, Sam, you've just won life. Like
you get to design the clubs that everybody's going to use.
Everybody loves
to play this beautiful game.
Yep.
Ted
Exactly.
Purdy, he is not Brock Purdy's dad.
I've got an interesting story about that, though. When Brock was in high school, I was getting calls like on Thanksgiving from college coaches from around the country thinking that I was Brock's dad, because I lived in Phoenix and Brock is from Phoenix area, and we kind of look alike, I think. But yeah, I'm not Brock's dad.
There you go.
But I'll claim him.
There you go. There you go. A lot of money to claim there. Ted, hey, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Best of luck out here this weekend.
Hey, cheers. Thanks for the invite.
Ted Purdy,
Cheers.
Arizona Wildcats grad, and he'll be out here, one of the guys playing golf at the Cologar Classic this weekend. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Much more coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. We review Arizona women's basketball's loss today to Colorado. You'll hear from Adia Barnes after the 61-58 setback to the Colorado Buffaloes. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Oh, looky here. My man, Bodie. Bubba, what's up?
What's up, Bubba? I love the new time slot. I decided to put some interest into becoming a Texans fan.
Bodie in Pearland.
That I decided to put some interest into becoming a Texans
Bodie?
fan.
You decided to put some
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at 1 on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coming to you live from La Paloma Country Club here on the north side, the foothills. It is the Cologuard Classic, which will be getting underway tomorrow. Arizona women's basketball, however, did not win today. Let's hear the final stages of that game one more time.
Williams is going to go on the attack, kick it out. Open three is on the way from Jones, but it's off the front rim and not good. Rebound front rim and not tipped. Cunningham can't get it. 2 seconds left, and Colorado is going to get the win.
Colorado Buffaloes knock off the Wildcats 61-58. Let's head out to Kansas City, Missouri, and chat with the play-by-play man for the women's basketball team. Derek Palmer joins us now, and the Wildcats had a 10-point lead with 9 minutes and change to go in this one and could not hold it. Derek, that's about probably as disappointing as it gets.
It was disappointing in a few different stages because it looked like they were just going to run away with it in the first quarter. That had a 14-3 lead. Colorado had no offense whatsoever, and it was coming off of a game, as I repeatedly mentioned, with so many turnovers, and seemed like they were picking up right where they left off. But it's been a point of emphasis in Barnes' conversations with me that these teams that have some more seasoned players are able to weather some of these storms. And what was, I think, of all of the disappointments that happened here with Colorado freshmen that wound up eventually taking over the game when the Wildcat freshmen just were not able to respond.
Yeah, it was the Lior Garzon and Kennedy Sanders show down the stretch. I mean, was that by design that they were just going to let those two players take over, or were those the two just with the hot hands for Colorado?
No, Sanders just wound up with a hot hand. She was one of those players where I did not bother looking to see what her point total or her eye was previously, just because she's just, redshirt freshman, just kind of holding on to the second string there behind one of those seasoned guards in Weta. But when the Cats were able to get Kendall Weta into foul trouble, and Masagayo was the player who torched him in the first half in Boulder, and neither of them were even remotely a factor. But Tabitha Betson was the one that was really holding the fort until Sanders was able to get going in the fourth quarter. And Betson recently put into the starting rotation there for Colorado, and shows that she provides multiple problems, especially because she can stretch bigs out and knock down some open shots.
Derek Palmer joining us, the voice of Arizona women's basketball. Ladies fall today 61-58 in the second round of the Big 12 tournament to the Colorado Buffaloes. Skylar Jones finished with 17 points in the game. Looks like, though, that there might have been some foul trouble for Brea Cunningham. Unfortunately, only 4 points in the game, only played 16 minutes in this one. And Maylene Rolfe, who fouled out of the game with just 2 points. What happened with Maylene? That's somebody that normally we don't see in a lot of foul trouble.
She got put into a couple of bad situations because of offensive rebounds was the biggest thing. She gave a foul to try to stop the clock also. So hers is not necessarily the whole story. Skylar Jones wound up with 4 personals as well. And I mean, most of hers came in the latter part of the game, but it all was just at the most disadvantageous moments for everybody besides Cunningham, in large part because I believe Arizona wound up with more offensive rebounds than Colorado, but Colorado just had a nose for the loose ball, and especially in the fourth quarter. And there were a couple of sequences. I think the Cats had 3 fouls on one trip down the defensive end early in the fourth quarter, and 2 of them were a result of the inability to get an offensive rebound. So they, at the time, still had a 10-point lead, but it was kind of like, are they going to wind up watching Colorado shoot a bunch of free throws? But it instead turned out to be just a couple of handcuffed defenders, which are some of the primaries out there with Cunningham and Jones. And not saying that's necessarily what allowed for those Colorado freshmen to go nuts, but the other thing that they were constantly juggling was trying to find a rotation that was going to provide some semblance of equal offense and defense. And when the offense started to stall, they were putting rotations out there with Lauren Swan and Paulina Paris, who frequently have a little bit of a hard time defending dribble penetration, and that's really when Sanders was able to start going nuts.
Obviously, we mentioned Brea Cunningham, only 4 points in this game. It's tough to win. I mean, she's your go-to person inside. It's tough to win when you can't get her going. 7 shots in 16 minutes. What were they doing to try to take her away today?
Cunningham?
Yeah.
She got caught reaching. She got one foul trying to deny an entry pass when she looked like she already had pretty strong position. So that was one of those that you feel like she just didn't need. She had another one when she went for a block and just, totally brought the hammer down with both arms. And it felt like one where she didn't necessarily need to do that. She gets caught still with a couple of those silly fouls when she either already has excellent defensive position or just makes a reach, and then you combine that with some of the inability to keep dribble penetration out. She gets hung up to dry a little bit there. So it's just kind of the same story there. I don't know if she was out there long enough for Colorado to really attack her.
Yeah.
The bigger factor was just not necessarily having her inside-out presence, which again, same old kind of story. After they just knocked down 50% of the threes from against ASU, they have open looks here, but just can't get them to fall. And it always seems as if the ball drops a little bit better when they're able to get a paint touch before they kick it back out.
It's interesting. I mean, we've talked all season about this team and the three-point shooting. They're not really a three-point shooting team, but they can make threes when they get hot. 15 was probably an anomaly the rest of the season. But what was maybe the issue today? Just shots not falling? Were they good threes, contested threes? What did you see?
They had some pretty good looks, and a lot of credit has to go to Colorado because they're playing without 2 starters for most of the game, and I think Masagayo didn't play 20 minutes. It looked like she was really worn out after they had to go full 40 against Houston. But you got players like Garzon and Tadair who are combined, I think, for 10 years of college basketball. And they understand the moment and are really running at the 3-point line. So looks that were perhaps momentarily open became a little bit less so. There just was it was a struggle, except for a couple of different moments in the first and third quarters to find consistent offense. And that then starts harming the defensive end when Barnes is trying to find players that she can run out there to try to settle the offense down, but winds up allowing for some clean looks on the other end. So it's just still in the laboratory, as it were, to try to find the right mix.
And now we wait to find out if there's going to be a 5th straight year of the NCAA tournament for this squad. What do you think, Derek?
It's going to be tough. I mean, you got all these conference tournaments. My last message to the fans before signing off was we're right now really rooting for the favorites in all these conference tournaments. You don't want anybody stealing bids. I mean, just to give you an idea about how tight it is, you got right now, according to ESPN, 3 Ivy League schools that are going to get in.
Wow.
As the Cats were the second one out, and they got the computer numbers that are a little bit better. I can't imagine that the strength of schedule is necessarily comparable, but they all 4 of them, including Arizona, has a little bit of right there similar resumes. So I don't know how you go about if you're the committee trying to split those hairs. It would help a little bit if Arizona State was able to shock the world and knock off Iowa State. It would help if Virginia Tech loses. There's all sorts of factors that would provide an awful lot of help. It's just the feeling of helplessness right now, knowing that this wouldn't necessarily have cinched a bid by any stretch, but it would have done a lot more to help them out if they were able to come away with the win here. So it's.
Well, and let me ask you this, because this is one of the conversations I had with Adia last week in terms of the fact that, had they finished in that 9th spot, they'd have likely have played 2 games. They'd have gotten that 20th win in the first round against Houston. They might not have, but, the odds on was that they would have. So they'd already be sitting at 20 wins had they lost to Colorado. Do you think that if they playing that extra game would have made a difference in the long run?
Yeah, if they could have come away with the win.
Yeah.
But I watched that Houston game. That one was the real nail biter. So I would imagine that they would have come out a bit differently. But I think that you're absolutely right. Getting to 20 definitely changes the complexion an awful lot. But I getting the 20th win against one of the lousiest Power 4 schools in the country, I don't know if it would move the needle. I mean, frequently what we seem to find out is the selection committee has its own criteria, and we're all kind of left here just hoping and guessing. So it's not over by any stretch. Just the Cats are going to need some help.
All right, well, Derek, we hope to hear your golden tones at least one more time this season. If not, how many years is this for you now?
Oh man, this would be 18.
18 years. All right, job well done then for an 18th season. If we don't get to
thank you so much
again. Derek Palmer, hopefully we'll get to talk to him about some NCAA tournament basketball. You guys flying back tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, we're leaving here shortly.
Outstanding. All right, well, safe travels back.
Thanks so much.
Derek Palmer, he is the play-by-play man for your Arizona women's basketball team. 61-58 was the final score today in Kansas City in the second round of the Big 12 women's basketball tournament. So Colorado moves on. They'll take on the top seed TCU tomorrow in the quarterfinals. Arizona will come home and wait to see if there is an NCAA tournament bid with their name on it. They'll have a whole week to wait and find that out, as the selections will be next Sunday. DK on the Sports Tip. We are coming to you live from La Paloma Country Club out here. It is the Cologuard Classic, and it's J-Dub. It's one of those things where it's cloudy today. Lots of clouds in the area, cumulus clouds, and when the sun is out, it's nice. When the clouds cover it up, it gets a little chilly out here, and it's going to be really chilly tomorrow. So if you're planning on coming out here tomorrow for some golf, be sure to dress warmly. The temperatures are going to be down, and they're expecting rain as well. So you might want to bring an umbrella with you.
I don't think the cold is a problem, DK, but it's been about as windy as memory serves in the past few weeks today, all morning and gusty today. So wind is, I think, a little bit more of a problem than the cold is for the golfers.
That's why I did not put up any of my tenting today out here, because I didn't want my tenting blowing across the 18th fairway. That's for sure. We will dive into a whole lot more things. Again, we're only with you till 5 o'clock today, so we got about 45 minutes more with you. Today, the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show will come your way at the top of the hour, live from the Union Public House. We've got two more, I believe, Tommy Lloyd shows to go. This one and one more after that. The men will be flying out tomorrow and heading out onto the road for their final regular season game. That'll be Saturday afternoon in Lawrence, Kansas, against the Kansas Jayhawks.
Kind of crazy, DK, to think that's only going to be the fourth time that the Arizona Wildcats have ever played in Lawrence.
Right, exactly. It's going to be fun, though. I think, this was the game. I think this was the team we had talked about at the beginning that was going to be the number one rival in this conference, the two, quote, blue bloods. And maybe it has not turned out that way for Kansas. Their season has not been exactly what they thought it would be, but don't think they're not going to be a formidable opponent on Saturday on their home floor, on Senior Day on their home floor. And Bill Select, I'm surprised, J-Dub, and we'll get into this maybe a little bit more. I don't know, do we have cricket right now or no?
Not
no.
here.
Okay.
I can go grab her.
No, that's fine. We can get to cricket a little bit later. I just did not want to step on any of her time. But I'm surprised, J-Dub, and we'll get into this maybe a little bit later. There's talk of Bill Self maybe retiring. Does that talk surprise you?
Well, I mean, again, like we've seen some coaches potentially move on because of the different landscape of college basketball. NIL, transfer portal, it's not quite the same college basketball universe for coaches as it even was 5 years ago. So I know Coach Self has been unbelievably successful. He's definitely a Hall of Fame level coach. I don't know behind the scenes what's going on, DK, but if he did decide that maybe, enough's enough, my guess would be that it has to do with the landscape changes and just how different it is for college coaches these days. He's been doing it, 25, 30 years now? Right. So I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Coach Self be there as long as possible because he's great for the game. But if coaches like that who've been around for a while, DK, do decide to step aside, it has to be because it's not quite the same basketball that it was it's not your grandpa's college basketball anymore, DK.
No, it is definitely not that. All right, we'll have cricket now. She's going to get you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. With a crash at Swan and Golf Links and Swan. Slowdowns, we've got busy traffic on westbound Ajo at Mission, which is also causing backups for the southbound I-19 Ajo off-ramp and southbound La Cholla at Ajo's busy. 49 the low, 80% chance of rain tomorrow morning with 53 is the high. Windy and 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatments.
PK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Coming to you live from La Paloma Country Club, the Cola Guard Classic. Final day of Pro-Am play. And then the whole thing gets underway tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 rounds here on the PGA Tour Champions. We'll see if we get a new winner, as we've gotten every year of this event, or if we get a repeat winner, possibly, for the first time. Or maybe even Jerry Kelly. See if he can win this event for the first time. He is the official host of this event. Second year they've played out here at La Paloma Country Club, this beautiful facility, not too far, right down the street from where I live. Maybe I should become a member here. I don't know if I had enough money to do that. Joe Durant was the champion last year at 13 under. So this is the list of champions. It goes back to, obviously, when it was called the Tucson Conquistadors Classic before Cologuard came in as the corporate sponsor. Marco Dawson won it in 2015, Woody Olson in 2016, Tom Lehman in 2017. Steve Stricker won the first year of the Cologuard Classic in 2018, Marco Mera in 2019, Bernard Longer in 2020, Kevin Sutherland in 2021, Miguel Angel Jimenez in 2022, David Toms 2 years ago, and then Joe Durant last year, the first year here at La Paloma. The lowest round of the winners, Miguel Angel Jimenez, 198. Of course, that was at Omni, Tucson National. Last year, Joe Durant, 200 total strokes to finish 13 under here in the first year at La Paloma. 520-848-1290 if you'd like to chat some golf with us. We had a text a little bit earlier asking, this was Danny, wanted to know Ted Purdy's home course. I'll have to find that out. Maybe Skyline, possibly TCC. I know he talked about TCC during our interview with him, but I don't know if Tucson Country Club is his home course for the Arizona Wildcat alum. But we'll see if we can get that information to you, Danny. The women's basketball team from Arizona losing today 61-58. We just chatted with Derek Palmer. Let's hear some more of the highlights from today's game in Kansas City.
Travels, has her shot rejected by Isis and then tipped on the rebound to Paulina. One player to beat. She's going to fan back outside. Get to the trailing Williams. 3 is on the way. Off the front rim. It's not good, but the rebound is pulled down by Rolfe as she goes up and scores. 6-0 start for the Wildcats. Colorado 0 for 3 with a turnover. Arizona working it off to the right side. Swan between the circles with the dribble. Goes to a cutting Williams from the foul line. High arcing shot is up and good. And the Wildcat lead is back out to 10. 12 seconds to shoot. Colorado with the basketball trailing 2. Weta starts right, goes left. Bounce this one inside where everybody forgot about Garzon. They were looking at Betson on the high screen. And it's tied at 56. Points have been hard to come by as it's inbounded between the circles. Williams gets to the free throw line, puts up a runner to score it. Took 3 seconds off the clock. So a timeout now taken by Colorado. 12.8 seconds left. Isis with the heads-up move. Cats will still have one more timeout remaining. Colorado has one as well, so you don't necessarily have to go for a 3 here. Jones and Williams outside as it's inbounded to a flashing Skyler. Quickly outside. Williams is going to go on the attack, kick it out. Open 3 is on the way from Jones, but it's off the front rim and not good. Rebound's tipped. Cunningham can't get it. 2 seconds left, and Colorado is going to get the win. 61-58. The Wildcats lead for 33 minutes and 12 seconds and fall after having an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter. A 10-point lead early in the fourth quarter, but are outscored 21-10 over the fourth quarter. And it's a brief stay in Kansas City.
Brief indeed, 61-58 the final. Cats led 50-40 with 9:15 to go in this game, but managed 8 points, just 8 points the rest of the way. Let's hear Derek Palmer and Adia Barnes after the contest.
game, coach, that your team led for more than 33 minutes, but Colorado got off to a hot start, particularly Kennedy Sanders, which was a little bit of something I was not suspecting anyway. What was leading to all of her opportunities?
I just think that she did a really good job. She ran them when she came in at backup point guard. She was open on shots. She played really well. She hit threes. She ran their team well. She didn't turn it over. We were trying to pressure her. I thought she came up and she stepped up really big, and we needed some people to step up like she did.
So your team forces 6 turnovers in the first quarter, 7 in the third, but has a hard time doing so in the second and fourth. To what do you attribute that?
Well, Sky got in a little bit of foul trouble. She's one of our best athletes. And then I think that, it's hard when we play without Brea. We're not going to win games if Brea's going to have 4 points and be out with foul trouble. We're just not. So, because we don't have another post to go to on the bench. So that really hurt us today. And we needed productivity from our top players. But, I think Isis played her heart out. She had 9 of 14. I don't know what else she could have done. But, other people had to step up in these games. I think Sky did, but we needed more from Paulina. We needed more from, everybody else.
You got 18 turnovers, and again, many of them happening in the second quarter. Was Colorado doing anything in particular to disrupt the offense, either be getting turnovers or stalling everything in the half court?
No, I just think we just went through these tough times where we couldn't score, but then we couldn't get stops. We went through big segments and we just could not find a way to score with the basketball.
Was Colorado shifting outside of man to zone or anything
No,
like that?
they were sagging and playing congesting the paint big time, and we weren't really able to hit shots. First half we were 2 for 10 from the three. Second half, we overall were 6 for 17, we were 5 for 20.
Yeah.
So I think 2 for 10. So we were 3 for 10 in the second half. So you got to be able to hit the shots when people are sagging so much. But defensively we could never put them away. And then when we were kind of getting stops, we weren't able to score for long periods of time. And one of those reasons because one of our best scorers was without fouls.
Was she also influencing the way that you couldn't put them away defensively with Cunningham?
Yeah, because then we're forcing Isis to play a lot of minutes, played 37 minutes, and it put a lot of pressure. And we kind of had to play some people out of position because then we had to play Sky some at the 4, but Sky's really good for us at the 3. So it kind of just made us do things that we don't typically do.
So you get 23 minutes from Knezovic. You're continuing to get performance from Swando today, a little bit more spotted. The freshmen seem as if they were kind of going into this moment. They just could not meet Colorado's freshmen. Is there anything that you can identify to attribute that to?
No, I think they were just more aggressive in finding opportunities. And then I think what really hurt us is these long lulls of really dumb fouls. They shot 14 free throws. That's the difference in the game. We shot 8. And we got fouls in bunches, which made Skylar be less aggressive, Brea less aggressive. So that was a period where very silly fouls, and it hurt us.
How do you transition from this disappointment into the offseason?
Well, this could have been – I don't know what's going to happen. This probably has a lot of implications, this game. We needed to win this game to give ourselves a lot more chances, so hopefully we get in the tournament. But who knows?
All right. Thanks so much,
thank
Coach.
You.
All right, that was Adia Barnes after today's disappointing loss in Kansas City, 61-58. The Wildcats cannot get past the second round of the Big 12 tournament after they got a win last year to advance at the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament. Not so much, 19 wins. They'll wait to find out if they are in the tournament. It's going to be a long wait, J-Dub, over the course of the next week to find out if there's going to be more basketball for that team, especially finishing the season so strong with the 4 straight wins to put themselves in a position. But the numbers right now just don't look real favorable.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we've talked about, it's the wins against Quad 1 teams. Yeah. And I think after this game, they're still 1-7, something like that. But, hey, anything can happen, DK. We got to root for the favorites. No more bid stealing from any of those, 10, 11 seeds in these conference tournaments. As long as the high seeds win out, Arizona still has a good chance to get into the tournament.
All right. Do we have the third member of our program today?
We do.
All right. Cricket, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. Cricket, have you ever swung and hit a golf ball before?
Yeah, golfing things.
Golfing things.
Yeah.
There you. So is this putt-putt or is this actually like at a range or something there?
No, it's putt-putt, but I played like I was at a range.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Take it very seriously.
So in other words, you're taking the full hack with that putter.
You know the dents that you see on the castles and whatnot? Yeah.
Like the little displays
Wait,
and stuff?
Yeah.
So the dents on the castles, that's your fault?
Oops. Maybe. Okay, yes.
So what's your low score at golf and stuff?
37. I don't know. I don't know what scores would be. I don't think I ever even kept scores. I would just say, well, I lost again,
I just count it based on how many Sweetums I can buy with my tickets after I'm done.
Yeah.
Right?
And just as long as I don't lose a ball, which I always would.
Always.
Whoops.
It's very easy to lose those balls if you hit them too hard at the putt-putts. That's for sure. So do you have your kids? You have all the youngsters in your family. Do they like to go miniature golfing with you? Is that something they enjoy doing with their aunt?
We've done that before. My nephew got a job at Funtastics, and so we wanted to go and play. He was so embarrassed, but we tried not to embarrass him. But we wanted to see him at work, so we were kind of messing around there.
So is this now?
You tried to embarrass him.
He's working there now?
No, not anymore. He got a different job at Fry's, but his first job at Funtastics, he was, oh my gosh, I can't believe you people are here.
So what's the best of the? What do you guys think is the best of the miniature golf establishment? Is golf and stuff better than Funtastics? I've only been to Funtastics one time. I've been to golf and stuff probably 3 or 4 times. Which one is better, do you think?
I think golf and stuff is bigger, but it's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been to Funtastics more recently.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I like golf and stuff because you can see a gunfight at the same time.
Oh, yeah, right next door?
Yeah.
It's like going golfing and a
Right.
gunfight breaks
You can go-
out.
Exactly. You can go see a gunfight at the old McKale Corral, and then you can go hit some put some golf balls.
Exactly.
I like that. That's
That's
all right.
fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we got to get cricket out to. So you've never been to Top Golf then?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. So
No.
they're put that. So we haven't added to cricket's list, J-Dub, in a long time.
It's been a while.
So add Top Golf to cricket's list of things that she needs to do before she dies.
I'll put it on the list.
Okay.
It's long. It's a long list. It's like a CVS receipt.
All right. Is all this wind causing any havoc out there on the streets today?
Of course. From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. The eastbound side of I-10 is closed east of the town of Wilcox to the New Mexico state line due to visibility issues, all this blowing dust and gusty winds. On our surface streets here in town, collisions at Swan and Golf Links, Oracle north of Rancho Vistoso Boulevard, and also Ajo Way east of Mission. That's causing a lot of backups on westbound Ajo at Mission. 49 the overnight low, 80% chance of rain tomorrow morning with 53 is our high tomorrow. Now windy and 68. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatment, sewer repairs, and replacements. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected plumbing experts at CoolWillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com. CoolWillies.com.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-289-6215. That's 800-289-6215. 800-289-6215.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY.
Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final segment out here today at the Cologuard Classic, La Paloma Country Club. We are scheduled to be back here tomorrow, but, there's weather in the forecast tomorrow, so we'll see how that all plays out. J-Dub, I don't like getting rained on, so I'm not going to come. As much as I love golf and love this event, I don't think I'm coming out here to sit in the rain. And my wife has told me we're not going to the concert if it's raining tomorrow night. So I will not get to see
Your wife's a very smart woman.
I will not get to see Rob Bass and all the rest of them if there's raining happening tomorrow night. That's a little bit disappointing. But she's the boss, so we got to go with kind of what she wants to do. Let's give you your your BetMGM Network play of the day. And this BetMGM top play is brought to you locally by Oro Ford at 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle.
Let's bet some college hoops. I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. I love me some Missouri Valley Tournament unders, and we have one tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. Evansville, Murray State. We're going under 130.5, tight rims, bad shot makers, good defense. Let's get the under in St. Louis. I'm Sammy Pete from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today, and please, gamble responsibly.
It's Truck Month at Oro Ford, and the savings are huge. Get $11,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford F-150s. Or take $13,000 off MSRP on a new 25 Ford Expedition. Want adventure? Drive home a new 24 Ford Bronco with $6,000 off MSRP. And here's the best part. Oro Ford is an easy drive from anywhere in Tucson, and you'll pay 2% less in taxes. Only at Oro Ford. Oro Ford, where Tucson saves on trucks. Restrictions may apply. See Oro Ford for details.
Did he say tight rims and bad shot makers?
He did.
Not a lot of confidence, I guess, in those two teams playing tonight. Evansville. They used to their old coach. I think Tim Cruz. I think was his name. It might have been Steve Cruz. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. But he coached that team like in the late 90s. He was the best player to ever come out of my high school in Normal, Illinois.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was the longtime coach of the.
I saw Evansville a few times in McKale. They came through for the old 4-team tournament that they had in the fall.
Interesting. Yeah. That's cool. That's always been a really kind of good mid-major program. At least they were. I mean, they kind of go up and down now. But back when Cruz was there, they were routinely one of those teams that had a chance to make the tournament every year. I've got another one for you. All of a sudden, Janai Brahm has dropped to plus money for the Wooden Award now. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is still the odds-on favorite, but Janai Brahm is now plus 415. So BetMGM saying take Janai Brahm if there is an upset, and Cooper Flagg is not the guy to win the Wooden Award for Best College Basketball Player this year. It's going to be Janai Brahm, and you've got a chance to, at plus 415 right now, win some money on that $12.90 bet. So take that. That is your BetMGM top play for today, and it's brought to you locally by Oral Ford. At 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle. All right, let's we're going to hear from Padraig Harrington, but first let's give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today, and that is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. And we had a chance to catch up with Ted Purdy earlier, University of Arizona alum, one-time winner on the PGA Tour, and I asked him about that Byron Nelson Classic in 2015 when he won and what it was like to walk up that 18th knowing that he was in a position for the biggest day in his life.
Oh, yeah, I was shaking like crazy. And I didn't know I was going to be the winner because the guys behind me were. Yeah. So I think I had a 3 or 4 shot lead over VJ and Sean O'Hare. And on 18, it's a difficult driving hole. And I remember hitting that little fade off the tee. You know, I was swinging as hard as I could swing, and it just it came off a little fade. And when it landed in the middle of the fairway, I knew I'd won because I knew I had a short iron in. I had a short iron into the green, 2-putt, make my par, and I get done, and I spend the next 45 minutes next to Byron Nelson. And Byron looks at my scorecard, and he goes, "Ted, you didn't have a bogey all day." And I said, "No, sir, I didn't." And he goes, "I don't think I've ever done that."
Wow.
And I go, "Mr. Nelson, I think you've you've won 11 times in a row. You've probably done that before." But VJ being VJ, he birdies 16, hole in one 17, and he's got and he is in the middle of the fairway on 18, and if he makes it, we're in a playoff. And I'm going, he's going to make it from the fairway. This VJ doesn't quit. And when he landed in the middle of the green, I went, "Oh, thank goodness."
Wow.
So I thought I had a comfortable lead until VJ decided to finish strong. But yeah, it was a great event. Great time.
That is Ted Purdy, Arizona Wildcats, class of 1996. Getting a chance to sit next to Lord Byron Nelson and talk about those 11 consecutive tournaments that he won back in 1945. That when you talk about, I mean, and again, if you're going to have the conversation of records that will never be broken,
yeah, that's
one.
One.
I think that's probably the one right there. I can't ever see anybody winning 11 consecutive tournaments on the PGA Tour. But Byron Nelson did that. So he would have been 93 years old because he died the next September, at the age of 94. So he would have been 93 when Ted Purdy had that chance to sit next to him and wait out the first win and only win of his professional career. What a great moment that was for that Arizona Wildcat. Cool stuff right there. All right, final chance for you, 520-848-1290 to get in on the program. We got a few minutes left here before we turn it over to Brian Jeffries and Tommy Lloyd, the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show, which is right down the street here at the Union Public House. We had Danny check in a little bit earlier, and he asked about Ted Purdy's home course here in southern Arizona, because he is living here now, and it is Tucson Country Club. So there you go, Danny. He plays at Tucson Country Club. That is Ted Purdy's home course here locally. Let's hear from Padraig Harrington, who's one of the golfers that will try to win the Conquistadors helmet this weekend. We had a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier during the Pro-Am Day, second Pro-Am Day here at La Paloma.
They pull us in. So the bad weather is really for back in our amateur days. They just left us out in those days. Play on.
They released a date of Happy Gilmore too. We've seen you do that swing with Happy Gilmore driving the ball, running up and hitting. Walk me through how that's done.
Look, it's second nature to me. I grew up playing hurling, so I've never had a second thought about doing a Happy Gilmore, running up, hitting it. I did consider using it in tournament play. I tried to tidy it up a bit. So if you look at my old Happy Gilmores, they are full out, 130 mile an hour golf swings. And I did try and tidy it up to see if I could maybe use it on the golf course, but I could swing faster, but just didn't quite get the strike of a normal shot, so it wasn't really worth it. But I haven't done one for ages, and I do it straight away. Look, as I said, there's a great Irish sport, probably the best sport in the world, called hurling, and it's second nature for us to swing on a ball with a stick, usually with somebody else trying to hit you at the same time. So I don't know, but it just builds up a natural confidence with it, and it's every kid should do it. Every kid should be doing Happy Gilmores, because it perfects the right movement in the golf swing. It perfects the right pivot. Everything about it is good for your golf swing, so everybody should try it and do it, and their golf swing should be a tidied up version of that.
We know you're a movie buff. I'm sure you saw Happy Gilmore 1, thoughts on 2 coming out.
I watch it, yeah. I watch it more for the cameos, I think, than anything else. It should be a bit of fun. Disappointed they didn't ask the best person in the world that's doing Happy Gilmores to be in it, but there you go. Maybe I would have shown him up.
Couple more, Jack.
Obviously, playing with you were working on your trajectory. And I'm curious if you could talk more about flighting the ball lower and any tips you have for amateurs to try and flight the ball.
Yeah, this is desert golf, and the one thing you don't want to get, especially if there's a bit of wind, is if you get the ball in the air, you get outside the fairway's okay, then you have the mounds. If you get outside those mounds, you could be reteeing. So you've got to keep the ball down. You use those mounds as buffer. So yeah, I basically kept the ball down all day. I'm going to hit it as low and hard as I can during the week, as long as the fairways stay firm. So I think the key here would be, if you want to hit it lower, generally you should reduce, maybe, like in my head, I'm mentally only using a half backswing, maybe a 3/4 backswing. So you're trying to hit a stinger shot, that old thing, which is kind of what I'm doing off the tee. A half 3/4 backswing and maybe a half 3/4 follow through as well are two good ideas and thoughts. Outside of that, I'm not a great one. I'm sure the ball moves back and I tee it down a little lower, but most of it is mental for me, just seeing the trajectory and then shortening my backswing.
You've won, I think, 9 times in 3 years on this tour. Why do you think you've been able to have so much success out of the gate?
I came in pretty strong. I think if you want to have a good Champions career, you got to be competitive on the main tours. When you're 49 years of age, you got to still be playing. You got to be out there. It's very important if you want to have a good Champions Tour career that you don't. It's hard to kind of have a 10-year lull. So if you kind of retire from the young guys at 40, it's hard to come back at 50. You need to keep going. So I would have been, and still am, competitive with the young guys. So it's nice to get out here and have an advantage when you're a little younger than the other guys. I obviously have a distance advantage, but my game is still strong enough. As I said, I'm still happy that I can go out and compete with the young guys. So if I get the right golf course out here in the Champions Tour, I definitely have an advantage.
All right. Thanks, Patty.
All right, that was Patrick Harrington a little bit earlier today out here at La Paloma Country Club. J-Dub, have you ever seen Happy Gilmore?
Many times, yes.
Yeah, our favorite guy, our favorite sometimes resident here, Tucson, Mr. Adam Sandler, who's known to be hanging up in these parts here, not too far from La Paloma, having dinner when he comes to town. I don't know that I've ever tried that on a golf course, that kind of shuffling up to the ball.
Have you ever played hockey?
No.
Well, that's where that swing comes from.
Me and the ice have we're not friends. We are not friends.
Yeah, that's where that swing comes from. Stepping into it is obviously a slap shot, because he had a hockey background. That's the whole story of Happy Gilmore.
I'm sitting right near a person who knows a little bit about the ice. That would be one Jenna Fink, former champion figure skater, now renowned sports anchor at Channel 4. Did you win any titles, any medals, Jenna?
U.S. figure skating gold medalist, which is like testing through a certain levels.
There you
I
go.
passed the highest level in a certain discipline, I would say.
All right. There we go. See, I knew she was great at that. No Olympics, though. No Olympics for Jenna. All right. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program as we take you to the top of the hour. Tomorrow, again, we'll be back out here, hopefully, weather permitting. We'll have more interviews coming up for you. Also, we will chat with Anthony Dell'Orso tomorrow and get his thoughts on the upcoming game in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas, on Saturday, final regular season game of the year for the Arizona Wildcats before they make their trek to Kansas City, and hopefully we'll have a little bit longer stay than unfortunately the women did, who lost today 61-58. The fellows will play next Thursday, and we'll await to find out where they end up getting seated. They can be no lower than third. More than likely they'll be the second seed, looking right now potentially like another matchup against Baylor. What do you think? Did you see the court, J-Dub? We haven't talked about that.
I've seen pictures, yeah. I mean, I like it. It seems pretty it's pretty minimalist. I mean, I think based on like how noisy so many of the modern courts is, I like it like that. I will say this, in case people are curious as to how that tiebreaker works, it's basically your record when you're tied with a team in the standings. It's your record versus the top team,
right?
Then the second team, then the third team, then the fourth team, and so forth. And since Houston beat both BYU and Arizona, I think it was Texas Tech that Arizona beat and BYU lost to. If Arizona and they tie, it's based on the record versus the top team and the second team, and that would be Arizona would win the tiebreaker over BYU based on their record versus the second best team, so forth and so on.
There you go. A lot of 12s on that court in Kansas City. I'm interested if they're going to, if that's the same, if they use the same court for both tournaments. I have not heard whether they do or they don't on that.
Hey, as long as it's a standard 10-foot hoop and the court is, got some nice stickiness to it, that's all that really matters.
You think Tommy Lloyd's going to pull out his
ladder
tape measure and ladder like the great Norm
Potentially.
Dale?
Who knows?
He'll put Conrad on top of Anthony's shoulders like they did in the movie.
Right.
Well, maybe we'll ask Anthony about that when we talk to him tomorrow. All right, that is going to wrap up our show for today. Are we good to get out of here now, J-Dub?
We are good. We are connected and ready to go for the coaches show.
We are going to end things here. Brian Jeffries and Tommy Lloyd coming up next. Thanks to Ted Purdy. Thanks to Jack Milko for joining us. For Cricket, for J-Dub, I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow on DK on the Sports Tip, 3 o'clock on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. Collisions Ajo near Mission on Ajo to the east of Mission. And also Oracle near Rancho Vistoso on Oracle north of Rancho Vistoso. Also road work on Grant Road east of Country Club to east of Alvernon Way.